This week I've got a whole bunch of objectives, the most important of which is getting some computer code running. I also need to write at least a couple more pages of my theory chapter of my thesis, which I've been sort of slowly writing up over the past couple of weeks and months. I have a meeting with my supervisors later on this week, which I want to prepare some stuff for and hopefully be able to present a plan for how I'm going to complete my thesis. And then on top of all the PhD stuff, I've also got to write a talk to give in London, and I've also got a whole bunch of singing stuff to do, which you'll see about. Let's just get on with it. So this morning I had several hours that I'd allocated for non-PhD things. So I run an access project in Oxford called the Oxford Project, which is getting students to vlog about their daily lives. And we have a huge document which is all about like basically the charter for the project. So I was updating that for a long time this morning. And then doing other things like life admin, sorting out emails, just things that I'm going to think about if I'm not actually working. Now I've actually got to work though, but after lunch. Right, now it's time to actually get started on my thesis. So I should probably explain what my PhD is actually about. The brief version is that you can divide the atmosphere up into different layers, and we live in a layer called the troposphere, which is the bottommost layer. The layer above that's called the stratosphere. And in the stratosphere you see these really big events called sudden stratospheric warmings, which are basically the most violent things that happen in the Earth's atmosphere. We know that these things have an effect on the surface weather, we just don't quite know why they do, or how they do. My thesis is essentially testing one hypothesis we have about how that happens. I came home, by the way, because my camera died. Also, so I do all my editing on my big computer here, which broke, and I've just sent it away to be fixed, and this is the moment of truth to see if it works or not now. Yeah, it would help if I turned the power on. Ah, it works. I am so happy to see that light again. This is Dan. We're off to do some singing. We're both members of the chapel choir.
We are indeed.
And every Monday, well, this is the last one actually for the time being, we've been doing these little gigs in a tiny little church just on Cathedral Green, where we were singing yesterday at the cathedral, and it's just a whole bunch of music in Exeter's second oldest church.
Second oldest, yeah.
Because as we hear every week in the history talk, that's just celebrated their 950th anniversary. It was founded in 1065.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
By the first Bishop of Exeter. So it's a nice little church. Anyway.
Pretty amazing. Oh, yeah.
Here's some music. So this week's kind of been a weird one. That's not the line I was going to say. So yeah, sorry about that, my camera ran out of battery. The other thing that I wanted to talk about yesterday that I didn't get a chance to because of the camera dying was the fact that doing a PhD is kind of weird. Like, it's not like every other stage in your education where the answers are definitely known, which is a problem because the work that I'm doing at the moment, I am doing something and then I have to check if it's right and sort of compare it to a whole bunch of other stuff in the field. But there's no guarantee that that stuff is right, and equally there's no guarantee that the method I'm using to see if it's right is right. There's any number of ways in which I can be wrong, and no matter look, I'll probably be all of them. Good morning. Aren't you gorgeous? I've made a friend following me. You cat slut. Oh hey, it's me in the mornings. busy today. That was a pretty productive morning, actually. So I've got to the point now where with my work, this code has been malfunctioning for so long that I'm kind of just trying everything. Like looking at every stage, looking at every variable that I'm using and just sort of tweaking it, multiplying it by 1,000, dividing it by 1,000, seeing what makes a difference. And at some point I'm going to find where the problem is. Well, that felt like a probably kind of full day, like a productive day. Like the vast majority of the day was spent still trying to get this code to work. And whilst I didn't get it working, I've now got some better ideas about sort of how it's not working, if that makes sense. The other thing which I did was write some code which is going to use the code that isn't working when it works to do a whole bunch of different calculations. So it's like the master program. What I've been working on is effectively like building a specialized tool, and this next bit of code is actually using that tool and telling the computer how to use it. So that's nearly, well, I've started it, let's put it like that. Now though, I'm going off into the uni because I ordered something from Amazon and there's a pickup locker here and I'm really quite excited. Much quieter than it was earlier. Oh hey man, who's this we've got? Another choir member. Jacob is you're a first year, right?
I'm first year.
And
yeah.
you are studying?
History and IR.
Oh, international relations.
International relations, yeah.
Alright, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, see you later.
Take care. Nice guy. One thing that's definitely worth noting about Exeter is it's really bloody hilly. So this is the ski slope that you have to kind of go up and down whenever you go to campus. This needs to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So unfortunately my housemate Dan has gone upstairs because he's not feeling terribly well. So I'm going to cut filming for tonight. What I am going to be doing is doing some editing for various YouTube projects and doing some writing for this talk that I'm going to be giving next month. Basically that's what I'm up to, but I'll see you guys tomorrow. So this morning's been a pretty standard kind of fare. I've just been sat coding the entire morning, basically carrying on what I was doing yesterday afternoon, which is quite nice. My hair's sticking up, but I thought I'd come out here to show you this view. This is the view from the top of my building. The thing about Exeter is, well, there's two things about Exeter Uni. It's the city it's the uni on the hill, so you get that view right the way down to the sea. You can just about see over there. And it's also, I think it's got the highest tree to student ratio of any uni in the country because it used to be an arboretum, so the view from here is mostly green, which is very nice. In fact, the Exeter sort of hashtag is #BleedGreen. So seeing as it's been quite a dull morning, I thought I'd explain a little bit more about exactly what I'm coding on, what the problem code's been. So basically, what I've been working on is this equation where you have some variable q that you know, and you know that q is equal to L acting on psi, the Greek letter. L here is just some linear operator. It's a bunch of functions like adding bits of psi together or differentiating it or what have you. Now, the problem is you know what q is, you're working out what psi is. And the way you do that is through, well, I'm using a method called successive over-relaxation, which basically means that you're using this equation, which is actually much simpler than it looks. Effectively what you're doing is you're guessing at what the answer is, and then you're correcting that guess and seeing how much you're increasing or how much you're changing your guess every time. And the computer code that I've been working on is basically doing this, and then it terminates after a certain, after a certain accuracy, after the correction gets small enough. Now the problem I've been having is that up until recently it wasn't converging, so the corrections were getting bigger and bigger every time until you just had to pull the plug. Recently I've changed that, I fixed it, I found what was just a really small problem. It was an indented block in my code, and now it converges, but it converges to the wrong answer, and it's giving me temperatures that make no sense, like negative Kelvin temperatures. So what I've been currently trying to do is make sense of that and fix it and make it converge to the right thing, but it's still not. And it's getting a bit frustrating because I need to get this done in order to get my PhD finished. But it's not playing ball, and I've been working on this for, I think it has been a couple of months now, just sort of trying to get this working. And this is the crucial tool. This is the very finely constructed tool that I need to use in order to get my PhD done. And all the other stuff that I do depends on this being done. And it's frustrating because this isn't actually going to appear in my thesis. This enables me to put the things in my thesis. given that I'm in my last year and I definitely feel the pressure to get stuff done, it's not the best when you feel like you know, you've just come against a roadblock and nobody knows why it's going wrong. But the thing is, if I don't do it, nobody's going to do it for me, so I need to keep trying. I'm taking a couple of hours off at the moment, sort of working on what I'm going to be doing after this. I know it works, but eventually I'm going to have to fix it. I will. Just don't know when or how. Okay, so it's now a bit later and making some interesting progress. I went back to the misbehaving code. I feel like I've identified what the problem is. It's to do with how I'm looking at things changing in the vertical. Like I've pinpointed down exactly where we're going wrong. Now I've just got to fix it. Which I am going to do. I'm going to go back to the office after I'm done with singing, which is where I'm going now.
Is that every day?
Yeah. So I've now got to get dressed. This is Sophie.
Hi.
She's one of our sopranos who's also a cheerleader, which is dressed like this. You've got varsity later, haven't you?
Yes, football varsity. I don't.
Bottom struggles.
So that was Evensong. This is something, if you want to know more about me singing, there's a link up there and down in the description. I did a whole video about doing choir stuff. Basically, I sing in the University of Exeter Chapel Choir. We sing an Evensong every Wednesday. We wear the fancy green cassocks, and then we have the surplices on top for the actual service. The stuff in the service is shot by Dan, because he's not feeling terribly well, so he wasn't singing today. Normally he'd be on tenor. We didn't actually have an organist today, which is unusual for us. Normally we have an accompanist, so everything was unaccompanied, including a piece which we hadn't seen before today. Now I'm just going to quickly head back to the office, because I've been thinking about the problem that my code was having. Oh, there's a squirrel!
This collar so that I may talk. Squirrel!
Exeter's campus is ridiculous for wildlife. You've got like squirrels, rabbits, foxes, badgers. Anyway, I'm now going back to the office to do a bit of work because I've been thinking about what have been the problems that have been plaguing me, and I think I've isolated exactly what it is, but I have no idea why it's not working. So just a little bit of time and then I'm going to go home. Well, this is getting more and more frustrating. This feels like going mad. Like the more that I delve into this program, the less I seem to understand. I've got to fix this. I will. But now I need to go home. I need to get some edits on the go, rendering. Then I need to eat and watch Bake Off. So that was yet another morning of coding. This was continuing to ignore the problems that I've been having with the code and sort of ploughing on under the assumption that I will eventually solve the problem code. And also doing a lot of stuff writing by hand. So this week I've been trying to set myself a sort of timeline for when I'm going to be getting each part of my thesis done. So the thesis is the thing that lets you call yourself a doctor. At the end of the day, you do your research and then you write it up in a document called a thesis, which, at least in this field, is about 150, 200 pages long. It's your original research, it's a summary of the field, and it outlines what you've contributed. Then you submit that thesis, and then you sit what's called a viva, which is anything from 2 hours to a full day of discussing your research with a world expert in your very specific field. And a lot of people don't. It's not really an exam; it's a defense of what you've done, which means it's really just a chance to have a really interesting conversation with somebody who's very good at what you've done. So I just wolfed down some lunch at my desk because I am now going to do what I've been trying to do every lunchtime. This week I've actually been pretty bad at it, and that's going to do some singing practice. So So the University of Exeter doesn't actually have a music department, so all the people that you actually heard me singing with yesterday in the chapel choir don't do music, like me. But we do have the largest extracurricular music programme of any university in the UK. So there's this huge building here, this is Cornwall House, which is full of practice rooms and ensemble rooms, where anybody who has a music card, which is very cheap to get, can just book in for as long as they like to rehearse on one of these pianos. So I'm going to be working through some stuff for the chapel choir, and also for some solo material, which isn't going to be any relevance for a couple of weeks yet. I'd just like to point out the ridiculous quantity of music. This isn't even everything for the term. I mean, this isn't even touching the Christmas or the remembrance stuff. It doesn't even fit in our folders anymore. This is ridiculous. Okay, so I think I might have identified what the problem was with the code. It's something like a very minor point in terms of how you define vertical derivatives. Well, it's not interesting, but I've just wolfed down a pub dinner because there's a campus pub which is just behind me there. This is the dream. I'm now going to go off to choir and I need a huge amount of energy because, oh my god, that tired me out. Is this yet more music? Hello, Peter, darling. No.
Wait, let me put my good side on.
Never has the music in a rehearsal made me angrier. Well, that was a dire rehearsal of music, spared by the Holst, which is an absolute banger. Liv's here, but she doesn't want to appear on camera.
No, you just make me sound really naff.
We're now going to watch some Game of Thrones and then get an early night because I want to get up on campus early to see if we can follow up on this idea and fix the code once and for all, which is really, really exciting. Okay, so it's currently 7 AM. I just half an hour ago pulled myself and a very disgruntled girlfriend out of bed. I'm sorry. And we're going to try and make the most of what I think is finding a solution to this coding problem. I think. I'd like to point out that Liv acquiesced to being in a clip, but demanded 2 takes because her hair looked too scruffy from the back. Okay, so I'm now definitely under pressure to now drop Liv off to actually get some work done, otherwise I got her up at 6:30 for nothing. Okay, so here's the situation. I just went through and basically kind of stripped out, when you're looking at this program, you're looking at how this variable varies in 3 dimensions. You've got your up, down, left, right, and back, forward. So I just stripped out the up, down, because that was the problem dimension, and I retweaked everything about this, and I removed a term that I think shouldn't have been there in the first place. This now works fine. Like, it's perfect if you were only interested in looking at 2 dimensions. Now I'm adding in the 3rd dimension, which, fingers crossed, is gonna work. Let's see. So this is the problem that we're having. This is the field that I'm generating, the stream function, the colours, and then the arrows are the velocities that you can get from that. And everything's pretty close, so this is what we expect to see, this is what I'm calculating. Everything's pretty good apart from this at the pole. And the temperature field that results from that is, I don't know if you can see this, is really wrong. But the velocity's looking pretty good, apart from here. So nearly cracked it. We have replaced one problem with another, but at least now we are much, much closer to the truth that you kind of see in the atmosphere. Time to get lunch and be quick about it because I'm really pumped to try and finish this.
So what happened? Only conquer then divide.
No, you divide your enemies, which makes it easier to conquer them. Okay, well I feel like a mug because I just got a pie for lunch and there was this farmers market here, which is here I think every Friday now in term time. Made a poor decision. It's really good, they've got loads of local foods and then like international foods as well. It smells amazing, and that's from something who's veggie. Well, that's bloody annoying, isn't it? This definitely feels like I'm going mad. Like, it's almost sadistic at this point. It gives me hope and then it takes it away. But still, I feel like I have to respond to these things in a mature manner. So I made use of the time and I set up another program which is running over the weekend. Hopefully it'll be finished by the time we get in on Monday. I think the preliminary results are telling me that what we assumed there was going to be a difference between these two methods, and it looks like there's not, which is kind of going against what other research papers have found. Well, at least one paper off the top of my head. That's something I'll have more data to make sense of on Monday. Now I'm going home. Hey, how you feeling?
Yeah, not bad actually.
Do you want to get some dinner?
Yeah, sure.
You know, sometimes at the end of the day you just really need a beer.
Yeah. That was me after choir.
So Dan and I like to try and play tennis, at least occasionally, to try and... Well, I'd stopped doing sports. You sort of stopped as well, hadn't you?
Yeah.
So it's nice, even if it's just two people. I mean, I'm going to try and do doubles.
Yeah.
Although our level of skill is definitely trouble enough, just two of us.
Trying to find a doubles partner that won't be embarrassed by our level of kind of poor tennis.
We did legit just choose that tennis court because it was as far away from everybody else as possible, including the kids' class down the end.
Yeah. Well, there was a girl having a lesson.
Right next
worked
to
out
us.
really well.
I was
We were
learning.
just getting free advice.
Yeah. Oh, and look what we have here. We've spotted a woodland sprite. Look at him go. Going about his business. Oh, I think he's found some nuts. Well, this doesn't look good. This is so what I don't need right now. At least my room's tidy. So we're just out shopping. I have now got a new jacket because I needed a coat because it's now winter, and we're now trying to find Liv something that's going to keep her warm because she's complaining incessantly about the cold. She was in Spain last year in her defence. Let's look at River Island and try not to show your face. Oh, the English summer's over. To be fair, the English summer also looked like this. Oh my god. You're gonna look like my... That's literally the same texture as my teddy bear that I definitely used to have. You've become like the Yeti on my YouTube channel, like no one's ever gonna see you. We managed it, and the sun came out. Okay, it's Sunday morning and my computer's still not working, so I can't do anything actually useful. So Liv and I are going to go into town. We're picking up some stuff to make a veggie Sunday roast. Today's actually quite an interesting day because we've got this, then this evening I've got a live stream, and then after that we've got a party to go to. When we were going to do some fun Sunday activities, I didn't think we were doing maths questions on the TV.
Pie chart.
Look at that pie chart.
Lush.
This-
Everyone's favourite chart.
It's the tastiest of all charts.
Also just so
It's the pie chart. Are you enjoying this, Dan?
fucking loving it, mate.
I
200.
love maths.
Mate, I
Love
don't
me some
think
maths.
that's right. I got the wrong answer.
That's why I'm studying English and classics.
Okay, right, this is the live stream that's about to happen now. Because of the problems that we had at home, I'm doing it in the office, so this is where I'm back at 6:30 on a Sunday evening. Oh, white top and a white background, that's not a good idea. But yeah, I'm about to live stream with Thomas Frank and Jamie Miles. There's a link, this will already have happened, so there's a link down there in the description to this event if you want to watch it. We're answering questions about uni and revision and studying, and I'm late, so I probably should join.
Assistant stuff, and then I had a tough time accepting this, but I started to become a little bit burned out with.
And that is the live stream done. That was a lot of fun. I always love doing these live streams. We might be doing them more regularly from now as well. That's just another thing to start thinking about. Do you ever think I'm taking on too much? Like I've got too many things on my plate? Maybe I should just focus on trying to get this PhD done. So the cool thing about this party is it means I get to go back in time a few hundred years because the house is... Actually, I don't know how old. I'll just show you the front door. So this is the front door. Ow, that was me hitting my head.
He's called Pebbles. He's very overweight, but we love him. Just like me.